Express yourself. Express yourself. Express yourself.
From the coastline to the neighborhoods, Rhode Island is full of beauty, culture, and powerful voices. This is Express Yourself Rhode Island on PEG-RI, your community's platform to celebrate our state and to speak up about what's happening where you live.
Express yourself. Express yourself. Express yourself. Express yourself.
Hi, I'm Ana Borges, and you're watching Express Yourself Rhode Island. This is a brand new televised program. It will televise 3 days a week, and everything that's going to be on this show has something to do with the residents and the people of Rhode Island. Not only Rhode Island, but it affects us all throughout this entire nation. Because when something happens to one of us here in the state of Rhode Island, it happens to all of us. So if you have a concern, any concern, an issue, a problem, or something you want to highlight or talk about, whether it's, hey, you know, I'm a great cook, and whatever the case may be, entertainment, whatever it is, we welcome you. Please contact me and let me know what you would like to have televised on this program. There is something that's in my heart that I believe the viewers need to know. This is not an issue that I have. It's an issue that we all have, because for those who reside here in the state of Rhode Island, this also affects you. Now I'm going to tell you a story about what happened to me. And because of this incident, to be honest with you, Express Yourself Rhode Island is now here. It gave birth to this program. And I believe it's going to help a lot of people, because together we will be able to network and try to solve problems and make changes for a better life for all of us here in Rhode Island. And it's my hope that you will get involved, participate, visit the courthouse, come into the courthouse, sit as a spectator, hear and listen to cases, not just my case, though you are welcome and invited. It's your constitutional right to do that. It is my hope that Rhode Islanders will get involved. It is my hope that Rhode Islanders will get involved. Because when there is a problem that we can identify that needs to get changed, it needs to change for all of us so that we can live in a better Rhode Island. So before further ado, I would like to tell you the general details of this story. I asked my husband, can I use your car? We would like to go to the gym. And he said, sure. And I said, I'll be right back. We're only going to the gym. I was taking our daughter, and that's where this all began. As we left the gym facility at around 8 o'clock in the morning, I had just pulled out of the parking lot. I was at the light and turned left onto Lewis Quizet Pike. At that time, I hear, woo, woo. And I'm like, what is going on here? So I get pulled over by State Trooper, Officer Nathan Riley, and he comes over to the vehicle. I'm in the vehicle with my, I believe, 13-year-old daughter at the time. And he said he pulled me over because the tint on the window was too dark, and something about the tag or the plate, visibility of plate, so that's what I was pulled over for.
What's going on, guys? How you doing? How are you? Yeah, I just wanted to see what the deal is with the Louisiana plates.
That's my husband.
That's your husband's?
Yes.
Okay.
He's a private American.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Do you guys? And also, the window tint was excessive, and I just.
So I'm driving, not my vehicle. I don't own the car, it's my husband's vehicle. So after providing my information, my license, and showing that I do have insurance, he proceeded to tell me to stay in the vehicle, and this continued for quite some time as I was in the car. So when he asked for information on the car, registration and so forth, I could not locate it. I knew it was in the car somewhere because it's kept in the vehicle. My husband keeps it in the vehicle, but at that time, I couldn't locate it. So I told him, I says, well, I don't know where it is, and I called my husband, and he said, it's in the car. So when I found the information, all that he needed, bill of sale and so forth, all that was in an envelope inside the vehicle. So I tried to get his attention to let him know, here it is, here's the information that you requested. So I'm waving it to show him I have what you're looking for. Here is the information that you need. And still, I was in the vehicle for quite some time, and I'm wondering, why is this taking so long? So I got out of the vehicle to step out, thinking that I wasn't going to walk over to him, but I was just thinking, well, maybe he didn't see me flagging it to him, but if I get out of the car, he'll see me, and then I can flag it as a sign, here it is, here's what you're looking for. So he tells me, get back in the car. So I did, and when he came over, I let him know some point during our conversation that I have my husband's information. I had it with me. But he didn't want to look at it. He never looked at it at all. So to make matters worse, he tells us, well, he asked me if it was okay for them to check the vehicle. So we end up being outside of the car, both my daughter and I. And he's going, next thing you know, the tow truck is here, and they're going through the vehicle. And they take the car. And my son's wheelchair was in the trunk of the vehicle. And I said, I need the wheelchair. And he said, there's no room in the vehicle for you to have a ride, so you'll need to walk. And he said, you can walk over to the building where he is. I can't think of the name of it right now. The station, if you will, the police, actually not police, they're state troopers, but he said you can walk over barracks, whatever they call it. And he said, I will have your wheelchair there for you when you arrive. Just ask for it, and someone will bring it to you. I said, okay. So my daughter and I walked. And again, it was somewhat raining that day, and my daughter wasn't feeling so great, and it was very difficult for her to take that walk. It was not an easy walk. And so finally, I get to the location on Lewis Quizet Pike, and we walk into the facility there where the state troopers are. And we go inside, and the wheelchair was there. And I called my family member, and I said, can you come give us a ride? And so it was my sister. And so my sister, I knew that it would take her a long time to get there. And sure enough, it did. I believe it took about almost an hour for her to finally get to the location to pick us up. And so my daughter and I are there, we're waiting. They were very nice, use the restroom if you need to, that sort of thing. And I sat there with my daughter, waiting for my sister to pick us up. And after a while, after calling her a couple of times and she had not yet arrived, I thought I better go outside and wait. She drives right past us, right past the place, never even looked, didn't see me. So I call her on the cell phone and she says, oh, I've got to figure out a way how to come back. And so anyway, long story short, my sister finally arrives and I look over because I'm thinking, okay, I'm going in now to get my daughter and the wheelchair, but I didn't have to. Apparently she had been looking out the window, and so here comes my daughter leaving the facility, the barracks, if you will, the station, and she has the wheelchair with her and she's walking up towards us. So that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. I showed my license, I showed my insurance card, but later sometime during the stop, the officer says, you don't have insurance, and I'm thinking to myself, I just showed you the card, and my daughter's a witness, she was there. We were inside the vehicle when I did it. It was in my pocketbook, just a little card type thing that I had, and I gave it to him. And to show him. So when he said, you don't have insurance, I thought, well, I don't want to be disrespectful and remind you that I just showed you my insurance card. So I said to him, I do have insurance. So anyhow, I could not understand why the vehicle was taken. I did not give permission for the car to be taken by Shea Towing Company. The state trooper had them come to the sites and take the vehicle because, again, he said the window tint was too dark and he had an issue with the tag and he didn't want to look at anything I was trying to present to him. He completely refused to look at it. So, whatever issue he has with the vehicle, he ended up giving me a ticket, and he ticketed me for the window tint and the tag. Now, when the officer first saw the vehicle, he was actually in a parking lot. The officer had absolutely no reason and no probable cause at all to pull me over. I was not swerving. I was not recklessly driving. There has to be a reason for probable cause for an officer to pull anyone over. Probable cause did not exist at all. And so when I received the tickets, I ended up in having to go to traffic court. But matters escalated. Prior to going to traffic court, matters did escalate. I did make an appeal in traffic court when it was just a terrible situation. I ended up having to go to traffic court not once, not twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, I believe 7 times, maybe even 8. And every time I went to traffic courts, they would give me a new date to return. I was always the only one present. The state trooper, Nathaniel Riley, was never present at all. It wasn't until I believe it was the 6th or 7th time that I was in traffic courts that I asked the judge this time, I said I would like to go to trial. And when he understood that I understood the law, because I had done a lot of research prior to making that request, he granted me that request. And so the next time I ended up in traffic courts, this time the officer who ticketed me, Officer Trooper Riley, was present for the very first time. And so just before, he comes over and he says, "Can I talk to you?" And I said, "Sure." So he takes me into a private room area at the courthouse, in the court. And he says to me, "What do you want?" This has been going on for a year. And he was exactly right. At that time, it had been, I think, exactly a year's time since the ticket that I received. But I kept appearing in court and I kept saying not guilty, because I'm not guilty of any of the things that I'm being accused of. It's not my car. Not my car, not my responsibility. The vehicle has an owner. I am not the owner. I was driving the vehicle at that time. That's it. Licensed and insured. So I would always say, not guilty. And so he says to me, "Well, nothing's going to happen today." And he said, we'll something about coming back in January. That's what he said. I don't remember what month it was. But he gave me the month and the day that we would be returning back to court and that nothing would be happening that day. I found that very suspicious because we had not yet been before a judge. It's the judge that determines the dates. And here it was already predetermined. So I knew, if in fact this turned out to be so, that he had already been in conversation with the judge. That's not supposed to happen. And sure enough, when I get before the judge, and we get before the judge, the trial began. But before that, this is what happened. I pushed for the trial. And when the judge said that we would return and it was going to be continued to the month of January and whatever date he gave, at that point I knew for sure that Officer Riley had been in conversation with the judge, because the date that Officer Riley gave me was the exact date that the judge on record said that we would return for. So I said, no, no, no. I have been to court. This is my 7th time in this court here today. And my witness has come out of town to be here today. I said, we are doing this today. And then I asked the judge, what is going to be different in January than now? What's going to be different that we would postpone and wait to return in January, that this cannot move forward in trial today? And the judge said, well, he looked at Officer Riley and he said to him, why don't you make a phone call and find the reason? And I can tell you that when I sat there in that courtroom, I never once saw Officer Riley pick up his cell phone or make a phone call to call anyone. I did see him sitting there because I sat next to him. Sometime afterwards, a police officer of the court, I suppose, I don't know, walked in, had a conversation with Officer Riley. Officer Riley came back and he said, okay. He said, we can move forward today. I feel bad, the witness, he was saying that because the witness traveled, he felt bad, so we would move forward. So that's how the case moved forward. Now, I will tell you that Officer Nathan Riley represented the state of Rhode Island as if he was an attorney. It is illegal for an officer of the courts, a police officer, anyone in law enforcement, to take the place of an attorney. They cannot represent the state. And the judge made the argument that he's not representing the states. All he can do is answer questions. That's what the judge said. So it is an illegal practice. And this has been going on in the state of Rhode Island for a very long time. I believe one traffic judge said, we have been doing it this way for 34 years. 34 years. And so I did let the judge know that he can't do this because he's not an attorney. He needs to have an attorney to represent him, or there has to be an attorney representing the state, but it can't be Officer Trooper Riley working and acting as an attorney. I do have the transcript of that entire trial. And in the end, I ended up appealing it. And the appeal was returned. Now, it took some time for the court to make the decision and to send a judgment. And the window tint was removed. I was found not guilty on the window tint, and I was found not guilty on the tag. So the very two things that I was given a ticket for, that I went to court and made an appeal, I was found not guilty. Now, you would think that the story would have ended there. It did not. It escalated into a criminal case. And now, if you look me up, Ana Borges, you will find that I have a criminal number attached to me. Because when Officer Nathan Riley pulled me over on October 14th, 2024, and took the vehicle and ticketed me for the tint and for the tag, he proceeded to arrest me at my home 6 days later. On October 19th, 2024, Officer Trooper Riley came to my home, stepped foot on my property, walked into the land, went into the backyard, tried to come into the house, but was stopped by my brother-in-law. So they asked him to come up and get me. Now, prior to Officer Trooper Riley coming to my property 6 days later, I received a phone call that Saturday morning. And it was the state troopers from the Lincoln Barracks on Lewis Quisett Pike. And this was all spearheaded by Officer Trooper Riley. And they said to me, we need you to come into the barracks. You can come voluntarily. If you don't come to the barracks, we are coming to arrest you. We have a warrant for your arrest. Now, I said to them, if you have a warrant for my arrest, you may come to my property and show me the warrant, and I will go with you. But if you do not have a warrant for my arrest, do not come to my home. That's exactly what I said. So they actually followed through on what they said, and they came to my property. And so now they have created quite a commotion. There are state troopers, all state troopers, state trooper vehicles outside my home. Of course, now you've got the neighbors looking and what's going on, and they have encircled my house. And my husband calls me. He was outside. He made way to go outside to see what was going on. And so they said, we have a warrant for Ana Borges. My husband asked to see the warrant. They would not show him the warrant. They said, we will show the warrant when Ana Borges comes out. We have a warrant for her arrest, and we will show her the warrant. Now, the reason for the arrest, I don't know. They never told me over the phone what the arrest was for. I remember asking and telling them, why are you trying to arrest me now? When you pulled me over on October 14th, I was at the barracks for about an hour waiting to get picked up. I was physically in the building. You could have arrested me then while I was there. Why are you coming now, 6 days later, to arrest me? For what? No reason was given. No reason was given to anyone at the home where I live. They would not give any information. They said when Ana Borges comes out, we will show her the warrant. I don't know what this is about, but I'm a law-abiding citizen. I have never had a record in my entire life. If you were to look me up, this is the woman who, no record, I don't get tickets, for me to have a run-in with the law, it was all fabricated. It still is fabricated. It was all made up. So my husband calls me, and I'm having breakfast. I'm still eating, and I know they're outside, but I'm not understanding why they're here. But I want to know if truly they have a warrant. Someone will call me, my sister, my brother-in-law, my husband will call and say, yes, they have a warrant, we've seen it. And I would say, okay, I'm going to come down. But no one called me to tell me anything, so I'm having my breakfast. And then my husband calls and he says, go ahead and finish your breakfast. And when you're done, they say they have a warrant for your arrest. And they can't show it to anyone. But they said that when you come down, they will show you the warrant. I come downstairs and I step outside and I see these state troopers, I believe 3 of them. And I greet them, I say hello, and I'm thinking now they're going to show me the warrant. And then I hear, arrest her. The next thing I know, I'm handcuffed. And I said, where is the warrant? You said you were going to show me a warrant. No warrant was ever shown. My Miranda rights were never read to me. No warrant was ever shown to me, and I'm handcuffed. Handcuffed. I was cooperative, but I did let the officers know, this is wrong. What you're doing is wrong. I do not agree with this. I do not consent to this. This is against my will. I let them know that they were taking me against my will. Never once did they tell me what the charges were. I didn't know why I was being taken. But then they said, when we get to the vehicle, we will show you the warrant then.
Thank you, Captain.
48-4. We have one in custody. We're responding to the barracks.
because he said he's going to show the warrant when we get to the car. You didn't show me a warrant.
Ma'am, please walk that way, okay?
I said
How
you're
could
free to
you
record,
arrest
sir.
me
Just
without a
step
warrant?
back a little bit. Ma'am, please, that way. 10 minutes.
Give me
$50 so we can get her out of here.
It's for the justice of the
You got
peace.
$50 too. I got that.
All right.
All right,
So
just
the
make sure you
ransom
bring
is
cash.
$50,
All
right?
right. No, sir, it's for the justice of the peace.
See at the Attorney General office.
Okay. We'll see you in a little while.
Sir, you can make your way down there now. It doesn't have to be a little while. Seriously. Ma'am, if you don't get in the car, we have to charge you additionally. Just get in the car. You have an arrest warrant. We told you on the phone.
So when I get to the car, close to the car, I did not go inside the car. I said, where is the warrant? Show me the warrants. You said that when we got to the car, you would show me the warrants. And Officer Nathan Riley said to me, when we get to the barracks, we'll show it, you'll see it then. So Officer Riley does the fingerprints. I've never done that before. Again, I've never had to run in with the law. So this is my first experience with everything. So, but I did ask him, I said, do I need an attorney for this? And he said, no, you don't. You don't need an attorney for any of this. That's what he said. So after being fingerprinted, they put me in the jail cell. That's what they did. So now I'm inside. I've never been in jail, not a minute in my life. I mean, I've never even been to this was all new to me. So they did bring up the vehicle though. They said that vehicle that you were in, the vehicle that I was in is not my vehicle. I'm not the owner. I don't own the car. But they proceeded to ask questions about the vehicle. I can't answer anything about somebody else's car. You need to ask the owner. I have no ownership. I have no legal authority to do anything with the vehicle. So if the window tint is too dark, if you don't like the tag, I can't change the tag. I can't remove the window tint. There's nothing I can do. The car is not mine. So when the troopers, the state troopers, came to my property, the car was parked in the backyard. Beautiful white Cadillac, parked in the backyard. With the same, my husband changed absolutely nothing. It's his car, he can do what he wants. He's actually from Louisiana. Whatever issues they have with the vehicle has absolutely nothing to do with me. You need to take that up with the owner. I'm not responsible for something that somebody else owns. I'm responsible for having my insurance, and I'm responsible for having a driver's license. Anytime you're going to drive somebody else's vehicle, whether it's down the street, we do it all the time. Even when you go to a car dealership and you're going to test drive a vehicle, obviously you don't have insurance for the vehicle you're driving. In the event you get into an accident with it, you're operating off of your own insurance and you're operating off of your driver's license. So he proceeded to go into the car, and he did get what they would need to show and prove, look, here is the ownership. I am the owner of this vehicle, And he took out the folder to show them. And guess what they did? They did not want to see it. They didn't want anything to do with it at all. So now they're questioning me and about this vehicle and whatever it is they think and feel is wrong with the car, and they want to put all these charges on me. And so, again, I don't know why I'm there. I'm waiting for the justice of the peace to arrive while I'm sitting in that jail cell. I was there for quite some time. Not because I was in a jail cell and a minute could seem like an hour, and that may have been the case too, but I was there for quite some time. And so they take me to the JP. The justice of the peace finally arrived. Now, the JP is there, and he's not very friendly either. And I'm thinking to myself, why are these people so upset? Why are these people so angry? I could not understand that. But that's the way it was. So he says to me, he's got all these things and wanted me to sign something before I left. And I said, I don't sign anything without glasses. I have to read what I sign. And so I couldn't sign because I didn't have my glasses. My glasses were in my pocketbook, and they said that my husband had my pocketbook because when they came to arrest me at my house, I stepped out with a fanny pack pocketbook, and they took my license. And somehow, I don't even remember how my husband got my purse. I never gave it to him, but I don't remember anything past that. But I do know that the officers did take my license. And so they said that they thought, I don't know, my husband had my glasses or, my pocketbook. And so anyway, so because I couldn't sign, the JP just, wrote something. I never signed anything, but I think he wrote refused on it. And so I left my husband was waiting for me to pick me up. He was outside along with my brother-in-law. And so when I left, Officer Riley followed me out. And he said, now don't forget your court date. And when I left and I looked at my paperwork that they gave me, that I left with, it said counterfeit and fraud. So now I'm in criminal court for counterfeit and fraud for the tags, the plates is what they're saying. And so from that time to this time, it still remains in the courts. At this viewing, this televised program, we are in June 2026. So from that time to this time, I have been in and out of criminal courts, facing charges for a car I don't even own. And the owner, on court record, has provided affidavits in writing with notarized signatures that he is the owner of the car. I have no ownership, no part in this car, never owned this car, absolutely never did. It's his vehicle. And he has come to court with me every single time, to criminal court. He also came with me to traffic court. And this still continues. It still continues. And I have asked the case to be dismissed. Dismiss means get rid of this case. It's no good. But they continue to keep it open. I continue to go, and nothing is happening. No one is looking There is absolutely no evidence against me. I have asked for a jury trial, and this first started off in district court, and then it was moved to Superior Court because I asked for a jury trial. And because I did that, it was moved to Superior Court on Benefit Street in Providence. And so I went through one judge, David Cruz, and he is no longer judge for me. He was in violation and not doing things the way that a judge is supposed to do. And so I filed a complaint against him. And so they say recused himself, although the court docket doesn't say that he recused himself. But he's no longer presiding as judge for me for those reasons. And so I was given a different judge, Judge Melissa Darrigan. And she violated so many things. My constitutional rights have been violated like you will not believe, continues to be, because I'm not the owner of a car. And not only that, the traffic court found me not guilty of the tag, but I'm in criminal court over the tag, which they have made criminal, counterfeit, and fraud. But as I said, Judge Melissa Darrigan, she has not been doing her job, and neither did Judge David Cruz, not doing their jobs as judges, siding with the prosecution, siding with their side, and the prejudice and the bias is very disturbing. So I just received notification because I filed some documents against Judge Melissa Darrigan, and I received an email, and I asked her to step down from the bench. I asked her to do that, and she said no, she would not. And so I did not stop there. I just continued to pursue this because she should not be presiding over this, because she has shown prejudice and bias in favor of the other side. And lo and behold, I get an email from Presiding Justice Joseph Montalbano. Forgive me if I'm saying his name wrong. It's Montalbano. And so he sends me an email, and it says to all parties. Now, he addressed this to different people who would also be getting this, the court clerk, the different people. And it says to the parties, please be advised that I have reassigned the above case to Justice Smith. So that means that Justice Darrigan is no longer in the picture. And now they're trying to put me before Justice Christopher Smith, and I have sent an email back that I reject Christopher Smith and that I am in disagreement with their choice. Reason being, I have another court case, and this judge is the presiding judge, and he is not doing what a judge should do. And he has also shown bias, taking the side of the other side. And so he cannot be the presiding judge over my case. So he will be the next one that will be dismissed. They will have to find a judge, a different one, but not these three. Definitely not Judge Cruz, definitely not Judge Darrigan, and it will not be Judge Smith. Now again, I'm still in court, and I'm going to show you this. This binder here, this is for criminal courts, for the counterfeit and fraud that they're trying to say that I committed based on Officer Trooper Riley's testimony. And he has not shown a shred of evidence And I asked the judge the last time I was there, and I said, not the last time, but the time before, I asked Justice Darrigan, and here is the transcript. I said to her, I was found not guilty at the traffic tribunal. I am not the owner of the vehicle. And I wanted to know, why are we here today? Where is the evidence against me? The prosecution has given absolutely nothing. This is a baseless case, completely baseless. Why am I here? Now, I want you to know that to date, they have produced absolutely zero evidence. We have passed the discovery stage. Discovery is when they have to bring in all the evidence that they have against me. And guess what? They have brought zero to date. So this will be 2 years coming this October. And I continue to be in the courts, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I don't yet have my jury trial. And the story is even bigger than this. The court, with absolute certainty, is protecting the state troopers. And they're just having me come back and forth, back and forth. They were hoping that I would take a plea deal. I was offered to go on probation, and the answer is no. I want justice, and that's what I told them. And justice requires bringing the state troopers who illegally came to my property, arrested me without a warrant, put me in the prison cell, defamed my name, and put me on the internet with information, if you look me up, that I was charged as a criminal for counterfeit and fraud, defamation of character. And yet, they have their jobs. They go to work every day. They're working. And this cannot be. So I will continue to fight this in the courts. And I want you, Rhode Island, to be part of this as well. The case numbers will be provided so that you can follow the case. I invite you to come to the courthouse. I invite you to be a spectator. There is something called a court docket. And on the court docket, it tells you everything that's going on from the beginning all the way to present. It'll let you know when I'm going to be in court next, so that if you want to follow the case, you can do that. I want you to know that my fight is your fight, because my win will be the state of Rhode Island's win. This has gone on far too long, with police officers, be it troopers or whomsoever, acting as attorneys in traffic court. It is totally wrong. There have been articles written on it. There have been debates. There have been a series of discussions on it, and it is totally wrong. So if you have time to read something that Roger Williams University did, this is part of the Law Faculty Scholarship. It was written in 2006 by Andrew Horwitz and John R. Grasso, Grasso, also from Roger Williams University Law School. And it's entitled Police Prosecution in Rhode Island, the Unauthorized Practice of Law. And I won't read all of it to you, but I will give you just a tidbit. It says, every day in Rhode Island, police officers are practicing law without a license in both the district court and the traffic tribunal. They do so with the full stamp of approval of the judges before whom they appear, despite the fact that the unauthorized practice of law is a crime in Rhode Island. You can read it here. It's very lengthy. So, again, one of the traffic judges, this was for somebody else's case, not mine, though I was present, and he said, because the same person said it's this is illegal. A police officer can't represent as an attorney. And the judge said, we've been doing this or operating this way for 34 years. Really? Now, again, because I've never had a run-in with the law, and I'm the type of person, I read everything, I research everything. If there is a needle in a haystack, anybody who knows me knows, I'm going to be the one to find it. So for me, because I research, and having a husband who's a constitution law master helps tremendously. And from that time to this time, I have been in the jurisprudence books. These books are absolutely wonderful. You can go to any law library. They have them in the courthouses, and you can read whatever books you want. I highly recommend. Do the research on the jurisprudence books. There's a topic for everything. We own the entire series. I think there's like 118 various books. And on anything and everything. If you want to know something and what the Constitution has to say and what the laws are pertaining to that particular subject, pick up a jurisprudence book. There is the Black Law Dictionary, and so this is an absolute must-have, because when you're in the legal world, you'll need to know what words mean and what they are. So I am my own attorney. I am pro se. No attorney can represent me, ever. I represent myself. And there are reasons for it. If you continue to watch Express Yourself Rhode Island, you will see why, because it's mentioned in a couple of programs that we have coming up. So for time's sake, I'm not going to mention it here. So this is a lot of work. This is a lot to put someone through. We have one judge, Justice Melissa Darrigan, who is no longer presiding judge for me. She had me do homework assignments, and she had me she said, tell me, you can read the transcripts for sake of time, but she wanted me to put together a binder for her with all the laws that I'm relying on, with cases that I'm relying on. And so I did. And I gave her a binder. It was this thick, the first one. And then she was finding fault with it. Although she never gave me instructions, ever. She never gave me a roadmap, ever. She just very vaguely said this is what she needed. So she was trying to say that I was in contempt of court because the binder was not to her specifications, so she had me redo it. And I redid it again. And then she was trying to say in writing, I received some things, that I'm in contempt of court because the binder is still not the way that she wants it. And so I then had to do it a third time. And so, but now she's no longer the judge for me, but you can see why. It's the judge's responsibility. It is the job of a judge to see if there is enough evidence to keep a case going, and if there is no evidence, dismiss the case. Means get rid of it. It's no good. That's what they're supposed to do. But again, this will be going on 2 years, this coming October, and with absolute zero evidence, no evidence against me. No one can produce evidence because they don't have evidence. So they're trying to avoid us going to a jury trial, because who goes to a jury trial without evidence? You would think that the system was crazy to go through all that trouble, get the jurors to come, everyone is sitting down, and now you have to produce the evidence because this is criminal court, so evidence has to be produced beyond a shadow of a doubt. But they have no evidence. So what evidence will they present to a jury? How can we have a jury trial with zero evidence? This is where the judge is supposed to strike this. This will never make it to jury trial because we have nothing here to substantiate anything but Since I have come to realize that the state of Rhode Island is not interested in justice, they're interested in sweeping this under the rug so that nobody finds out what happened to me. And they're hoping that I would have taken some kind of a plea deal so that they could quietly and silently make this go away. And I've been offered a plea deal. And the judge said, think of this as a get out of jail free card. That's what she said to me. My response is, I didn't belong in jail in the first place. The first time the troopers took me there, I didn't belong there. Everything they did was absolutely illegal. But again, the state of Rhode Island, the attorneys, the judges, they're all protecting the system. They don't care about the residents or the people of Rhode Island and who they wrong. So long as the information doesn't get out, the story doesn't get out. But now I'm here doing a televised program to let you know that, again, my fight is your fight and my win is your win. Because when I win, everyone in the state of Rhode Island wins. Because soon there will be a law. It's state of Rhode Island versus Ana Borges. But the table is going to turn. When soon it's going to become Ana Borges versus the state of Rhode Island. And yes, I will pursue after the state troopers who illegally did what they did and put me in the position that they have put me in. Because if they've done it to me, they have done it many times to many people. Again, this is all new to me, but I'm a fighter. I'm a definite fighter. And victory belongs to we the people. And that's why I say that my win is your win. And we will win this. It's already won. So thank you for watching Express Yourself, Rhode Island. Keep your eyes on this program. Every program is important. And you will learn every time you watch, because everything that affects one of us affects all of us. Thank you for watching. See you next time.
Express yourself. Express yourself.